So one of the biggest talking points coming away from the season 2 trailer is how Tariq is going to find himself drifting further into trouble with the law, because all eyes will definitely be on him when it comes to Jabari's death. There's not only going to be the new detective Kevin and Jenny on the case, but Carrie's also going to be taking things into her own hands and working on the case herself. This is where we're really going to see her past experience as a prosecutor really come into play, something we mentioned a few times to keep in the back of our minds going into season 2, because we were eventually going to see Carrie use this prosecution experience that she has. There's also the computer that was full of information that will be a key part in all of this, but the main question is, who is Tariq going to sacrifice to save himself? So in this video we're going to break down Carrie's role in this case, how Tariq will use Sax and call in a favor from him, how Davis McLean will be his Joe Proctor, and ultimately who he could sacrifice to save himself, and what's left of his family, which is Yaz. But of course, if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 2 Ghost and Power Universe related. But let's talk all things Tariq and sacrifices, and start with Cooper Sax and his role, and why we're most likely going to see Tariq call on Cooper Sax to help him, just like we saw in the trailer in this scene. He's going to be one of the people that he turns to who have power and influence, and when Tariq gets brought in for questioning and is caught up in the murder of Jabari, he's going to have to call someone, and that person is going to be Cooper Sax, because he does owe Tariq one. When Tariq was on the stand for Tasha's trial in the last episode of season 1, he knew that he was drugged. He stopped short in mentioning Riley's name, but he knows that his niece had him drugged, and I'm sure this is something that Tariq will use to get Cooper Sax to do him a favor. Because we all know, it's always good to have some sort of law enforcement on your side, and who better to have on your side than someone who knows the St. Patrick's inside out. Ghost proved many times, having someone like Angela and Joe Proctor can really help you when you're in trouble, especially with Cooper Sax moving over to working with Davis McLean, who seems like he's going to be Tariq's defense attorney, and we all know to what extent Cooper Sax will go to get what he wants, and Davis McLean is pretty much in the same mold. He's someone who's going to be willing to do anything to keep his 100% win record. He'll task Cooper Sax to use his relationship with Jenny Sullivan to get key information to make sure they stay 3 steps ahead of the game for their client, who's going to be Tariq. So we're going to see Cooper Sax complete a full circle, and instead of trying to nail one of the St. Patrick's, he's going to be working for Tariq, and as well as Davis McLean, he's going to be Tariq's Joe Proctor, who's going to be telling him what to do and what to say and how to behave, just like Joe Proctor did with Ghost. He told him just to behave like he was some normal club owner while he was inside. In the trailer we saw a short scene of Davis McLean telling Tariq not to say anything. And although Tariq has had a troubled past, some of this will definitely be new to him, because he won't have anybody's help or shoulder to lean on this time. So it's not going to be easy for Tariq. He's got Kevin and Jenny Sullivan investigating him from one side, and then he's got Carrie on the case as well. Deadline wrote an article soon after the trailer aired, and they told us there's going to be a lot of work ahead for McLean, as both detectives and Carrie are on the case. So let's talk about Carrie being a former prosecutor, because Courtney Kemp did tease that this was going to come into play at some point after season 1, and now we know why. She's going to be doing her own investigation while she's at Stansfield. And even though Carrie was no longer with Jabari and was in bed with Zeke, and still in bed with Zeke, as we saw in the trailer, it's not going to stop her from searching for answers herself, because she'll definitely want to know who's responsible for his death as much as law enforcement are. And what's going to play a huge role in Carrie finding out the truth, because I do eventually think she'll be the one who connects the dots back to the Tejadas and to Tariq. And what will play a huge role in this is Jabari's laptop. Justin McManus, who played Jabari, did tease a while ago that season 2, I can't say nothing, but I will say this: whoever finds Jabari's computer is going to have a lot of information. So those were the words of the actor who plays Jabari on an Instagram live Q&A, which he did a while ago after season 1 had finished. And Jabari's book centered around Tariq's story. In episode 8, we saw him researching the St. Patrick family on his computer. He was reading into Raina's death and Angela Valdez's death, because he was after the ending of the storyline, which only Tariq could give him. So I don't think Jabari would have finished the story, because this is the piece of the puzzle that Carrie is going to have to put together herself, and this is where her storyline ties into Tariq and the Tejadas into season 2, with a past experience as a prosecutor. And because it's Tariq's story, Carrie will definitely be able to connect the dots eventually with the help of Jabari's computer, because I do think she's going to be the one to go into Jabari's office and be the one to find his computer and all of this information. But this is where Carrie really starts to enter some dangerous territory, because we all know in the world of power, when you start to know more information than you should, then your time is going to come sooner or later, just like it did with Jabari himself. He was getting to know way too much information, and of course, Tariq could never let him finish writing the story on him either, so he had no choice but to kill him. And this story is very reminiscent to what we saw play out with the recording that Bailey Markham had of Tommy admitting that he and Ghost killed Felipe Lobos, and then the recording device that Ruiz had also picked Tommy killing Ruiz. Tommy killed Bailey Markham because he knew way too much information, and that laptop had to go. but it definitely lingered around for a while. So I think the similar thing could happen with Jabari's laptop in season 2, but with Carrie knowing too much information, she's going to be one of my death predictions, which I'm going to come to in just a moment. Because what else is on Jabari's computer that we know or don't know about? He was digging deep into the Tejada's life, and one person he knew about was Drew when he followed Tariq, which led him to Drew, and even writing his name in his notepad. He was connecting the dots with the Tejadas to the Bars murderer at Stansfield before Tariq killed him. So what else does he have on there for Carrie to find? And who's the first person that she's realistically going to question? That's Zeke. We all know that she's deep into this relationship with Zeke because she's a sex addict, and Zeke, he's just head over heels for her. I'm sure he'll tell her whatever she wants to know. She's someone who can press Zeke and press him into giving her some information about the Tejadas, and I can actually see him giving the answers that she's looking for or just pointing her in the right direction. And Carrie's not stupid, she knows who the Tejadas are. She's a canonical studies professor and a former prosecutor. So in my opinion, as she gets closer and closer to uncovering the truth about Jabari and Tariq's and the Tejadas' involvement, eventually she's gonna have to go. Courtney Kemp spoke about people earning their death. For example, how Holly earned her death when she put the hit out on Ghost, Dre being a snitch, Jabari learning too much information, and the same could be said about Carrie. She's gonna learn way too much information, and this is where she's gonna earn her death. Because there is no way Tariq is going to risk having Carrie learn the truth, because he needs to finish college for him to inherit Ghost's money. And who else is going to look after Yaz with no Grandma Estelle and Tasha around? But Yaz is a whole nother problem altogether, which I spoke about in this video in a bit more detail, with how Rashad Tate could help him get Yaz back from foster care. So Tariq is going to have to step up and be a man this season, just like Kanan told him in his hallucination.
Supposed to be on your man shit, right? It's too late to be scared now.
So who is Tariq going to have to sacrifice to get what he really wants? I think Carrie could very well be one of them, and she's going to be high up on my death predictions going into season 2. But even if he does get rid of Carrie, it still doesn't solve the problem of Jabari's murder. Kevin, the new detective, and Jenny Sullivan will be all over this case, and there definitely will need to be a fall guy for this. Kane definitely doesn't want to be the one to go down for it, so who else could Tariq sacrifice? Because as I've mentioned before, during the Power Off season, the gun could very well come into play and be a key move in whoever goes down for Jabari's murder. Could he sacrifice any of the Tejadas, or possibly even Lil Guap? He proved to us before that he's willing to sacrifice even his own best friend, which he did with Kanan in season 5. So I can see something similar playing out with him planting the gun again. But whatever Tariq does and whoever Tariq has to sacrifice, I don't think it's just going to be one person over the course of this season, especially in this scene where it seems like Tariq is going to have to get his hands dirty and commit yet another murder. So Carrie and potentially Lil Guap are two characters who are high up on my list of people that Tariq could sacrifice this season. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Will Carrie find Jabari's computer and her working on the investigation as well? Is that going to seal her death? And let me know who else you think Tariq could sacrifice this season. Drop all your comments down below, and of course if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 2 Ghost and Power Universe related. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.